Hello, true believers. Now, I have a confession to make. Even though I look like a model of perfection to all of you, I don't hear as well as I used to, so I won't be able to hear.
Oh, never mind. We don't have breaking news. The news broke. Wait, what?
What?
Oh, okay. I think we have Stan.
There are things happening that I am not
I think
privy to.
we have a sneak preview of Stan's cameo in Amazing Spider-Man 2 that Max has. Max, please.
It's supposed to be a secret, but Big
It's top
Mouth over
secret.
here wants it.
So be careful. You might want to wear sunglasses. The special effects might overwhelm you.
Well, come on, these people.
I know you won't. It's hard to believe we didn't rehearse this. Yeah, okay, look close. Don't tell us so what the song.
It's right there. Oh, I'm great.
Max has broken about 20 confidentiality agreements.
Thank you. They appreciated that very much. I hate these things.
Okay, try just holding it.
They're dangerous weapons is what they are.
So I'm going to ask Stan a few questions, then we'll open it up to questions from the audience.
Why is it at every panel there have to be questions? Why can't I just sit and talk and say whatever I feel like? Okay, listen attentively and appreciatively, but if you want questions, okay.
Okay, well my question is, we know all about the cameos and we'll get to them. But
You don't know your name, you need a sign.
Where is Stan? Why doesn't Stan have it? This is ridiculous. Why do I have it? This is silly.
There's signs for names, that's silly. By the way, if you don't know this, Danny Fingerup used to be one of our top editors and writers years ago at Marvel. All right, here we go.
So I know
Let's get serious.
the Super Bowl. What the hell were you doing at the Super Bowl? Did everybody see Stan with Todd McFarlane at the Super Bowl? What was that about?
Well, there's this little company called Doritos, and they're one of the sponsors of the Super Bowl. So they had a big contest. All over the world, people could enter from any part of the world. And they were asked, everybody was asked to make up their own commercial, 30-second commercial, or maybe it was 60, I don't remember, for Doritos. The 5 winning commercials would be sent to the Super Bowl, and of the 5, 2 of them would be shown at the Super Bowl. And of those 2, 1 would be judged the winner, and the person who did it would get $1 million and a chance at a real movie. So they received hundreds of thousands of entries, and they boiled them down to a few dozen great ones that I had to look at because they wanted me to be one of the judges, because obviously my taste is so superb. And I know so much about potato chips. At the Super Bowl, they insisted that I come there and sit with the Doritos people at their private little booth up on top. And I really had more important things to do. But I went there, and I met the people who submitted the 5 entries, and I met the person who won, and so forth. And that's probably the dullest story I have ever told. And why didn't you ask me about that?
Because the Super Bowl is not something one would ordinarily associate with Stan Lee.
No, I'm associated with everything. Last year, they asked me to go to San Francisco, where the San Francisco Giants, or whatever the name of the team is, the baseball team, they wanted me to be there for some reason. So I went there, and they had me go out in the field and talk to their star pitcher, and they televised it all. And I still have no idea why I was invited. They paid me for it, so I went, of course. So that's my big sport in life. Okay. Oh, and at POW Entertainment, that's my company, we're working on something called, I forgot what it is, I think the Defenders, something like that, and it has to do with hockey. We made a deal with the Hockey League. I hope you're all big hockey fans. And we're going to be, in the next year or two, you'll be hearing a lot about this. We made we made up a special superhero for each team. And there are like 1 million teams. It was a big job. And you'll be hearing about it. I'm not supposed to talk about that in advance. You strike that from your memory.
And you ran into Todd McFarlane at the Super Bowl? Was that planned? Or was
I run into Todd McFarlane all over. Wherever you go, there's Todd McFarlane. I bet he's here and nobody knows it. But I did. He's a great guy. I'm glad I taught him how to write and draw. Love that.
And now, so you were at the Super Bowl, then you went back to California, then you came back to New York for some top secret thing? What was that?
Yeah, I had to come to New York for... why did I come to New York?
I don't know, but you asked me that.
Oh! I did a commercial for the United States Post Office. So I want you to start using stamps and stop emailing. And the commercial is in, this will surprise you, it was in conjunction with Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man and me in a commercial for the New York Post Office. And they'll probably start running this commercial when the Spider-Man movie opens up in a month or so. So what? Excuse me, I was speaking. You aren't getting the stage.
I'm going.
Anyway, you will see, now I have to start over again. So I did this commercial. Anyway, you'll see it, you'll say, wow, I remember Stan telling me about this, and you'll get all excited as well you should.
And everybody saw you on, I imagine, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Those of you who saw me on the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, sometimes things don't turn out the way you think they should or would. They said to me, you're going to be on a train, and two of our characters are going to be having an argument, and the guy is going to be yelling at the girl, and you're going to be sitting with two lovely girls, I like that, and you'll hear them yelling, and you're a distinguished gentleman and you don't like a man yelling at a woman, and you walk over and tell him that you think it's terrible that he speaks to the girl that way, and then you leave. So I figured, well, that's the type of thing I would do. I'm very chivalrous. So they filmed it, and I saw it. And when I saw it on television, I said, Jesus, it made me look like I was so old and decrepit, I needed those two girls to lean on. I thought it would look like they were my girlfriends, but they made it look like they were two nurses holding me. So I wasn't happy with it. I'll have a little talk with whoever the director was. I forgot his name.
Did you make them do take after take till they got it right? Did you make them do take after take till they got it right?
Oh, no. I'm known as One Take Lee. I mean, I do it once, the director says perfect, pays me a lot of money, and I leave. And if you believe that.
And what's Stan Lee's Mighty Seven? What's that?
Oh.
Tell us about it.
So we decided to do a group of new superheroes in animated form. And I came up with something called the Mighty Seven, and it's on the Hub Network, which nobody ever heard of or looks at, but that's where it is. You may know what it is, for mostly young kids. And they made an animated movie of the Mighty Seven, and the people at Hub liked it so much they asked for two more. So we're now working on the second and third. The first one was just broadcast a few days ago and got a great rating. And, we call it American, or the world's first reality cartoon adventure, because we have real people in it, and one of the real people, of course, is me. So, in fact, I'm the star of the show, he says modestly. I'm not going to tell you anymore and spoil your fun if you haven't seen it. There is such a network as the Hub Network. I don't know what channel it's on here, but you might get a kick out of it. It's on every week on some day or other, I forget which day it is. And it's a whole movie. It's very strange. But I'm a star.
I think now we'll take some questions. There's some microphones.
That's right, we have to have questions.
Yes, we have a few people in the audience. Yes, the gentleman in the bow tie.
Okay, what's your favorite superhero that you created?
What is your favorite superhero that you created?
Oh, I love them all. They're brilliant and wonderful and inspirational, but probably Spider-Man because he's the most like me. He's intelligent and athletic. Yeah, I like Spider-Man, but I love them all. It's not easy to say he's my favorite. Because when you mention the others, I love them too. Sometimes I sit home and I think, wow, did I really think all of these up? I'm brilliant. It's obvious.
Thank you. Next. Yes, sir.
Well, my lonely assistant here just asked you a question and mine will tie into it. I want to know your favorite villain because I like the villains.
I love them all too. Goblin and Doc Ock. You know, you talk about Doc Ock. I love to give people nicknames. Like Spider-Man is Spidey. I mean, you never heard at DC, they wouldn't call Batman Batty. I think probably my favorite villain was Dr. Doom, and I'm going to tell you why. He isn't really a criminal. I want you to think about this seriously. What does the man really want to do? He wants to conquer the world. All right. You walk down the street here in New Orleans, go up to the toughest looking policeman you can find and say, "Hey, officer, I'm turning myself in. I want to conquer the world." It's not a crime. Anybody can say that. The guy would say, "Good luck to you." And you walk on. All Dr. Doom wants to do is conquer the world, and that's not a crime. So I kind of like the guy. What an opinion.
Yes, sir. Any question?
My question is, what made you come up with the Avengers?
Greed. We had all these characters together, and they were making money, and then we figured, we had all these characters separately, and then we figured, hey, if we put them together, we'll make even more money.
He's such an idealist. Next.
My question was, what made you want to be in all the Marvel movies that you created?
What made you want to be in all the Marvel movies?
Believe it or not, I didn't. I was asked, what was his name? Bryan Singer. He directed the first X-Men, I think. And I had met him, and he said to me, "Hey, would you like to be in one of the scenes?" Well, even though I'm a very shy, retiring person, I said, that sounds like it might be fun. So he had a guy coming out of a beach. One of the villains or someone was coming out of the ocean, walking on the sand, and he was strange looking. And in the background, I was selling hot dogs. And as the guy walks by, I look at him like this. But nobody saw me because everybody was looking at the guy. I was the only guy looking at me on the screen. But anyway, that was the first one. And for some reason, when they did the next Marvel movie, the director must have felt, well, if Stan's in that one, we'll get him in this one. And they've been calling me. I have nothing to do with it. And people ask me, how did you decide that your cameo would be this, that, or the other? I don't decide. They would call me and say, we're doing a cameo. Can you be at the studio on the 28th at noon? And I go there at noon and they say, here, put this cap on. Oh, that's another thing. I'll never understand the movie business. For one cameo, I walked in looking as great as I always look. I had a white shirt on, a pair of jeans, and a pair of sneakers, and a members-only jacket. And the girl said, okay, Stan, here's your wardrobe. We have an old members-only jacket, a white shirt, jeans, and sneakers. I said, well, I'm already wearing that, so let's go. Let's start filming. No, you have to put ours on. Why do I have to wear yours? I'm wearing just what you want me to wear. But those aren't ours. So I had to take off everything I was wearing and put on the exact same outfit to make them happy. So I'll never understand movie people. Why did I mention that? Did it have to do with anything? Why I told you that, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Next, please. Yes, sir.
If you could have any superhuman ability, whether it be a superpower or otherwise, what would it be and how
I
would you
heard
use it?
that. I heard that. Did it come from over there?
No.
Yeah, I gotta tell you a funny thing. It sounded to me like it came from. I never know where the voices come from. But you can tell. You know it came from there.
I saw the person. He's
I have badly directional ears. That's what it is. Now, the question was if I get any superpower. This answer may surprise you. I try not to surprise you because it isn't good to be surprised too often. It shock your system. But anyway, if I could have any power, it would be luck. Because just think about it. If you're lucky, you don't need any other power. Dr. Doom shoots a ray at you, it misses. You want to win the lottery, you win it. I mean, if you have luck, everything falls your way. So that's the real great superpower. But the reason I've never given it to a character, and you may not have thought of this, it isn't a visual superpower. And people like villains who have visual, or heroes who have visual powers. I mean, if you have the power of Iron Man, you can fly. If you have the power of Spider-Man, you can climb walls and swing on webs. How do you draw a guy who has luck? You just draw a guy, that's all. It's not interesting. But that's the power you should wish for. A little word to the wise doesn't hurt.
Thank you. Next. Yes, sir.
When creating Spider-Man and Peter Parker, what made you decide to make Peter Parker very intelligent and then Spider-Man a very big smart aleck?
I heard, when did I decide to
What?
make Peter Parker something? I missed that. And then Spider-Man was something. I missed that.
What made you make Peter Parker very intelligent, but make his alter ego Spider-Man be a smart aleck?
Well, you could be an intelligent smart aleck. Look at me. I wanted to make him an interesting character. And I thought when he becomes Spider-Man and suddenly he has that power and he can do almost anything, he'd act differently and behave differently. See, for instance, if I didn't have this incredible power over you people, the audience, I'd probably be speaking much more shyly and hesitantly and timidly, but I'm aware of my great power, so that's what I like. Oh, by the way, did I tell you how Spider-Man got to be a Marvel character in the first place? Did I ever tell you that story of how my publisher decided to go with it? Well, if you've heard the story, read a book for a few minutes. I'll tell this to the people who haven't heard it. We had already done the Fantastic Four and maybe the X-Men, I forget the order, but our books were doing well, so my publisher came to me and he said, Stan, I want you to dream up another superhero. I wanted to keep my job, so I said, okay. So I'm sitting around trying to think, what the hell can I come up with? And I see a fly crawling on a wall. And I said, wow, it would be kind of cool to... No, I'm lying to you. I don't think we had the word cool in those days. I think I probably thought it would be kind of groovy if I could find a character who could crawl on walls. So the next thing I needed was a name. So I figured Fly Man, Insect Man, Mosquito Man, and then I hit on Spider-Man. It just sounded dramatic, And I figured I'd make him a teenager and give him a lot of personal problems so that the reader could relate to him. So I went rushing into my publisher's office. I got it. I got a character called Spider-Man. He's He's a teenager with a lot of personal problems. I waited for the slap on the back and the bonus check. But my publisher said to me, Stan, that is the worst deal I've ever heard. He said, first of all, people hate spiders, so you can't make a hero called Spider-Man. You want him to be a teenager? Teenagers can only be sidekicks. And you want him to have personal problems. Don't you know what a superhero is? They don't have personal problems, they're superheroes. So I did not feel very triumphant as I walked out of the office. But I was determined to do this. We had a book we were going to kill called Amazing Fantasy. When you're going to kill a book, nobody cares what you put in the last issue because you're killing it anyway. So just for fun, I got Ditko to draw this thing, and we put Spider-Man on the cover, and it sold like crazy. So after the sales figures were in, my publisher came to see me and he said, Stan, do you remember that character Spider-Man of yours that we both liked so much? I swear. He said, let's make a series. And that's how Spider-Man was born.
Who's next? Yes, sir.
Oh wow, I get to talk to Stanley. Okay.
He's tearing up over talking to you. And me a little too, right? Yes.
Okay, when was the moment that you stepped back and you were like, I have made it. I am Stan Lee. I am like the greatest comic book icon ever.
When did you first realize how great you were?
I'm really not that great. I just love to kid around about it. I mean, I can't believe half the things that are happening, you know? I mean, you fans are the greatest people in the world. I go home after a convention, I walk in after I've been acclaimed and I've been cheered and people have been so great. I walk into the house and my wife says, Stan, take out the garbage.
May I state a footnote to that? In your own autobiography, I believe you mentioned something you wrote on the ceiling at DeWitt Clinton High School.
Well, I was stupid. I went to DeWitt Clinton High School in New York, and I don't know why I did this. I was a high school kid. They had a tower in the school. It was shaped like that on the top of the school. And the painters had been painting the inside of the tower. They left their ladder. And I was the editor of the school magazine or something, and I was up in the office. I see the ladder with the paint. And I figured I ought to paint something there. And when they take the ladder away, because the painters were finished, that'll be there forever. Nobody will ever see it. It's up on the top there. And for some stupid reason, I climbed the ladder and I wrote, Stan Lee is God. For all I know, it's still up there. And I don't remember why did I tell that story? Oh, when I first, I didn't know I was great. It was a joke to me. No, I've been very lucky. I've worked with a lot of artists who made my stories probably look much better than they really were. Because these guys, Jack Kirby and Ditko and Romita, Buscema, and Gil Kane, and Gene Colan, they took the stories and they made it so that you had to read them. They looked so great. So, I mean, a lot of people have to share the credit for whatever it is I may have done. It's just that I talk more than they do. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite cameo?
My favorite one?
What's your favorite cameo?
I don't know. I'm such a big fan of mine that I like them all. Maybe the one it was in a Spider-Man movie. I think I was a librarian. And I was listening to music and I'm going like that. And behind me Spider-Man and the Lizard are having a life and death fight and I didn't know about it. I thought that was kind of funny.
I like Thor 2 when you asked for your shoe back. I thought that was
Oh, I didn't like that. In Thor 2, if you remember the one where I say, can I have my shoe back? I had about a whole paragraph of things to say, and they cut all the stuff out and they just left it, can I have my shoe back? You know, I don't mind for myself, but you, the public, hear the rest of it. But that was funny.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you like being on The Big Bang Theory, and how did you like the show?
Did you like being on The Big Bang Theory, and how did you like the show?
Oh, I loved the show, and I never had a better time than being on it. I think it was one of my greatest performances. But I'm very annoyed they haven't asked me back. I'd love to do another one. So when you have nothing to do and you feel like writing a fan letter, the name of the show is The Big Bang Theory.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Out of all the heroes or villains you've created, which would you say you identify the most with on a personal level?
Of all the heroes and villains you've created, which do you identify with most on a personal level? Not on a professional level, on a personal level.
Can we have a new guy for me at the next time?
Those are the lines you gave me. That's perfect. What was the question? You most identify with.
Well,